Today I'm going to teach you how to make a delicious bone broth. My friend gave me a bunch of knuckle bones. I'm going to show you those right now and we're going to get started on this bone broth. Alright, here's the bones right here, beautiful knuckle bones. They're going into a 425 degree oven to roast for 30 to 40 minutes, and that's our step number one. Okay, we're gonna get those soup bones out of the oven, which is gonna create a deeper flavor, but in the meantime, I'm gonna chop up about 4 ribs of celery, a couple carrots, just a rough chop, and just slice up this onion. It has skin on it. It was left over in my fridge, and just a couple cloves of garlic. It's all going into the slow cooker with those bones. We're gonna pull those out of the oven because they have roasted for 30 minutes. They're ready to go. All right, look how gorgeous that is. It's a full pot of the bones, all the veggies, and we added about 2.5 quarts of filtered water in here. I'm gonna add some peppercorn, about like that, going through. We're gonna add 2 bay leaves and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, just so we can draw out the minerals from the bones even better. Okay, and I just threw some celery on top. I didn't chop it, I just put it in there. Now we're going to turn on our crock pot. This is gonna make the best bone broth you've ever had in your life. We're gonna go to manual, high setting, enter. We're gonna cook it on high for 8 hours and low for 8 hours. It's a long, slow cook to draw the minerals out of the bones. Very nutrient dense broth we're making here, very gut healing. You'll wanna sip on a cup of this a day once it's done. So this is a 16-hour process that I like to do for best results. I do not do this in the Instapot. It goes too fast and you want it to go really slow. And it's gonna make a lot of broth because you're gonna be able to refill and do this a few more times with your bones in here and your veggies in here. That's just fine. I usually do 2 or 3, sometimes 4 different loads of broth with just the bones I have in one batch. And then we strain it, each one, and we put it in jars and put it in our fridge, or you can do a pressure cook on it to seal them. But then you have your own bone broth for soups and stews and sipping on for the week. Like I said, very nutrient dense, very helpful for gut health. And this is the best way to do it. If you have sprigs of thyme or rosemary, any other herbs you want to throw in there, now's the time to do it. Let's get cooking. All right, the bone broth is done. It's cooled. I am ready to drain this. I usually just put it in a strainer like this, right over a 8-cup glass bowl, and strain it down. I will pour it in jars at that point and get another batch going. But it smells awesome, looks phenomenal. It's gonna be a great, great broth. We got it strained. We see the fat on the top, which we do want in our jars. I never skim that off. Some people do, I do not. Because if I don't want to use it in a recipe, once I get this into the fridge in jars, that fat just stays on the top and I can scoop it off and use it in cooking other things. I don't have to use it in the recipe necessarily that I'll be using it for, or even drinking it. But look how delicious that broth is. Such a rich, deep color. That's what you want. And it should get nice and gelatinous on us, meaning kind of like Jell-O when you put it in the fridge and it gets cold. When you go to scoop it out, it'll be thick, kind of like a Jell-O is. And that's what we want, a nice gelatinous, awesome bone broth. So as you can see, that almost yielded me 2-quart jars. I used about a 1/3 cup of this in a recipe I'm doing over there right now. So you can plan on about 2-quart jars out of every large stock pot or slow cooker. But that's because this is totally full, and sometimes I don't have this totally full and I get more like 2.5, maybe even 3-quart jars sometimes. So this is making some delicious nutrient dense broth because we have this slow cooker just loaded with good stuff.